Hey, Marcus.
Good evening. Good evening. It's time for Pillow Talk Season 2. Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to tonight's broadcast. Yes.
Somebody said we're upside down. Are we, Marcus? Are we upside down on your screen? Okay, we're upside down. Okay. Okay. There we go. Let's see if that works. Hopefully that works. Yes.
Hello.
That was hilarious.
Terry, blessings to you guys. Good. Okay. Okay.
Now I'm gonna do something different. Marcus, are you guys both at home or y'all out? Where y'all at?
That was funny. Good evening. Good
Yes, it is
evening.
pillow talk. Somebody says I'm seeing double. Something's going on with this. Oh God. Okay. I don't know why people seeing double. One side we're upside down, the other side we're seeing double. We actually, we were trying to, Michelle is cooking. Okay, good, good. I'm gonna. You guys might be able to hop over to Facebook for us. Somebody bring you on for just a second because I want to talk to you guys and ask you guys some questions. I know you're not even
Yeah,
prepared
I
for
know
that.
everybody sees the yellow shirts. Everybody sees this.
Yep. Now we're wearing these yellow shirts for a purpose. Um, yep. We're wearing these yellow shirts because we started. I'm gonna give a few people a few more minutes to come on, and then I'll talk to you about the yellow shirts and where the yellow shirts came from, and where they all started. Because these yellow shirts, we bought these yellow shirts within like the first probably 6 months of marriage. And so these yellow
Yes.
shirts have a story.
Yes.
I want to tell you the story of the yellow shirt tonight. And it's funny. It's gonna be funny because I can't remember where we bought them at, but we
I think they were at, oh goodness.
I have no clue.
Um,
But I want to tell you the story of the
Nike?
yellow shirt. And I said, can't wait for the story. Now tonight, we're gonna do something we probably hardly ever do. Yep, somebody said I keep remembering the huge boat that made its appearance in sound in Tampa.
Tampa,
Yeah,
yes.
that was amazing. And I love you too, Latia. So I'm gonna give you the story as soon as more people come on of the yellow shirts, and then tonight we're doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna do a pop-up interview. So there's gonna be I'm gonna find one of the couples that comes on, and we're gonna do a pop-up of just asking them questions about. There's about 20 questions that you got, and so we're gonna do a pop-up tonight and see who's gonna actually play along with us. And so it should be pretty cool. You know what? We bought these at the outlet. Yep,
Nike.
Yep, at the Nike outlet. Was it? It was a store right around from the Nike outlet. I don't think it was the Nike store, but it was a store
Okay.
close to it.
Okay.
And so, yep. And this was like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was.
Tell her we said hello. Tell her we said hello.
Wow. Hello.
Yep. Yeah, Terry, tough it out tonight and stay. We're gonna tell some good stories. So the first thing that happened tonight was we're wearing our yellow shirts, and these yellow shirts were shirts we bought in the first 6 months to a year of our marriage. And we got married. It was an interesting thing because I'd always said, I want to be married, and I wanted somebody who we really were really connected.
Right.
And so what we would do is we would just buy all the same clothes. We'd eat out of the same place, and
Which
sometimes
we still do.
we still do, except for tonight. And I'm gonna tell a joke and laugh with you in a minute. Except for tonight, I'm laughing because my wife, we have gumbo that's sitting here, and some of you guys saw the gumbo on the screen, and so I have my bowl of gumbo, and I would let you see it, and then my wife has her bowl of gumbo. Now here's the deal. Her bowl of gumbo has oysters in it. And tonight I'm going to tell you some stories about our marriage. Her bowl of gumbo has oysters. I don't eat oysters. Now, I'm very cautious about what I eat. Let me tell you the story. I think I might have told it when the first time we came on. we were at a restaurant, Carrabba's in Memphis when we first got married. And so we're sitting at Carrabba's, and while we're sitting at Carrabba's, she is just, we're in love, and it's so wonderful and so amazing. And so she is sharing her food with me.
Yes.
And so she's sharing, what were you sharing?
Mussels.
Yes.
The mussels that they have there in the garlic sauce and so on and so forth at Carrabba's. Very good, very tasty.
So, I'm eating the mussels. She's digging them out. I had never eaten mussels before in my life. I'm talking about literally never eaten mussels. And so she digs the mussel out. I'm eating it. Boy, I'm eating it. It's like, it's so good to me. And, I'm like, but I've never eaten mussels. So I didn't know that I was going to have a reaction to these mussels. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. And when I wake up, these mussels are talking to me. And they are not doing very well with me. So like 3 o'clock in the morning, the mussels are coming. They are, yes, I worship the throne. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for helping me with that one. And so as a result, everything was it was horrible. And so it was funny because I said from then on, I'll never eat mussels. I'll never eat oysters. I just wasn't going to eat them. And so I haven't, And so I've learned with wisdom that there are some things that you do and some things that you don't do.
Right.
And so there are some places that will eat the same plate, but when it comes to oysters, I let her have all the oysters she wants. I'm just not eating the oysters. And so for me, that was always funny. But these yellow shirts go back a long way in our relationship. And we said that to say that it's so very important in your relationship that you're able to go back to the initial purpose for the relationship. Sometimes as time goes on, things happen, life happens, ministry happens, business happens, children happen, all kinds of things happen. And as a result, you can sometimes start to not necessarily grow apart, but you start to develop an identity outside the initial identity you had in the relationship. And so as a result, then what happens is you've got to always find a way to get back to the original intent of God for your relationship.
Right.
And so one of the things we always do is we go back and we look at things that bring us back together. We bring them. We talk about things that bring us back together, connect us again, really put us back into a really good place, especially if we see ourselves drifting just a little bit.
Right.
And when I say drifting, meaning sometimes if you're getting irritated with each other quicker, and that's going to be in relationship. Let me tell you something. Don't ever let anybody judge you in your relationship, because the reality is everybody has days in their relationship which are not necessarily the best day. You're going to have days where you're going to be grumpy or things are not going to go well. But the reality is, if you can stay connected, if you can stay connected and if you can remember the reason for which you connected, then it's very important, again, in my opinion, that you keep focused on your foundation, that you keep focused on the purpose for which you connected, that you stay connected with each other and let everything revolve around that purpose. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so key. What you said, really making sure that everything revolves around the purpose of why you are married. Right. And so because if not, you can easily get away from the purpose, not intentionally, but life has a way of happening to all of us. And then sometimes our attention gets off focus. Sometimes we don't realize, and we sometimes lose value of the other person and even lose value of ourselves in the process of life. And so it's important, because if you don't always go back to the purpose of why God brought you together, then you will never receive the benefit of the marriage. Right. And so that's one of the things, even myself, in pretty much everything that I do in life, I need to find the purpose of it. God, what is the purpose? Why do you have me doing this, that, and the other? What is the purpose? Because if I don't know the purpose, I'll never receive the benefit of it, and I won't really be able to participate in it fully because I don't know the purpose of it. I don't know the value of it. And so understanding our value, the value of our marriage, why did God bring us together? What was the initial purpose? And so when you can go back to purpose, you know what you're fighting for.
One of the things that happened is, and I love to be transparent in these teachings. One day, we went to this meeting, and it happens every time, and not just necessarily preaching. It's not always preaching, But when we went to this meeting one day, and I think the first time, and both times it was at the meeting that we had with your aunt. And so the first time it was at the when you got the award, and you stood up to speak. And when she stood up to speak, she was so articulate. She was so powerful. She was so. And again, I mean, we preach together all the time, but this wasn't a preaching opportunity. It was just she was just speaking, but her speaking was so articulate, and so there was just an anointing that came when she was speaking, and I was like, my God. So for me, it's always I enjoy making sure that I place value on basically on my wife,
right?
And then even seeing your spouse in just in the way that God sees her or sees him, and then when you're looking at them, really being able to really place value on them and honor and esteem them. Because when I looked at her as she was speaking, it just did something for me. I'm like, my God, this girl she's just powerful. She's articulate. She's smart. And remember, I told you guys one time there was a piece of paper that I had written all of my I had written all of my requests for a wife on. And so when I wrote all of those requests down, for me, everything that was on that list, I think there may have been like just one small thing that was on the list that maybe she didn't necessarily, that didn't apply. And then let me tell you something else that's really interesting. Now this is an inside joke. I'm not going to answer this question. Don't ask me this one. But there were other things that I prayed for that happened in time.
Right.
They didn't necessarily happen initially on the first day, but as time happened, it processed into the thing that I was desiring from my wife. Yes. Even as it pertained to some things as far as one of the things I said she's got to be able to operate in the boardroom. She's got to be able to operate in the.
Someone said, "Did I have a list too?" You
know
what?
Let me finish this
okay.
and then I'm gonna let you go there. Okay, so I had on my list. Okay, so I said she had to be able to operate in the boardroom with me, in nonprofit stuff and business stuff, but also in the pulpit with me, and then also be connected with us in our ability to be good friends and hang out.
Yes.
And so as a process of time, initially she had never been on the board of directors in boardrooms, but she went back and got an undergraduate with in leadership with a minor in public administration from the University of South Florida. And it's amazing because I didn't ask her to go back and get that. The Lord put that on her heart to go back and get that degree. Then as a result, she began, and then there was an opportunity that came for one of us to be on the board. And they initially asked me, and I said, no, I think I would love for my wife to take that responsibility. And so when God gave her that burden, it ushered her into some of those places. Now she sits on those boards, and it's been tremendous. It's been tremendous what God has been able to do through her. And so for me, I got the things that I was asking for again, because as me being the head, I'm asking for a helpmeet. And so a helpmeet has to be able to meet certain requirements to help me meet what I'm doing. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm sorry. Now, somebody asked you, did you have a list?
I did not have a list. Amazingly enough, I did not have a list because I was not planning on getting married. But before I completely answer that, one of the things I think that was so important, because you said you had a list of the things that you were desiring, in a wife, what you felt that would really compliment you. But even though I didn't have all of those things that you were desiring, you were willing to, you assisted me in the process of becoming. And so it's important, men and women, that even though the person is, because one of the things we all have to understand, you're not going to find the perfect person. Nobody's going to be perfect because you're not perfect. So you can't expect somebody to be what you're not. But in that whole process, even though there are things I did not know, I did not understand, he walked me through the process of me becoming who he already knew God had ordained me to be. And so God had placed it on his heart. And so many times you can say, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. But are you willing to go through the process with your spouse as they're becoming who you know God has called them to be?
That's good.
And that's a whole different type of investment. We can say, you need to do this and you need to do that, but are you willing to invest your time? Are you willing to, we actually went back to school together. He would walk me to my classes. And, one of the things I have to say, our relationship is very unique. It's not something that you see all the time, meeting 2 months later, getting married. And then the path that God had us on, first of all, of course, we had to be attracted to each other. We liked each other. We liked being around each other. And then it just began to morph into something greater than our expectations, because we had no idea what God was doing. And, we knew us coming together was not just to say, oh, we got married. No, God was merging. He was bringing two ministries, more than two ministries together. He was merging the ministries that God had done with us individually, but we knew our next level and where God was taking us was going to take place as we came together. And so in that process, again, we had to go back to purpose, learning each other, being around each other, working, ministry together, starting a church. We were still newlyweds, very newlyweds, and we're starting a church. I don't even fully know him. He doesn't fully know me. I mean, we're still trying to figure all this stuff out. And yet, God has given us a mandate. So we have to be very mature, in this whole process and say, you know what? It's not about how I feel right now. It is about the purpose of why God had brought us together. And so the part about the list, I really didn't have a list. I really didn't. Because again, I didn't think I was going to, be getting married. And so I just, of course, I wanted whoever it was, I had to know that he loved me and he loved God. So all the other stuff,
So I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Shanika, if I brought you on the screen, we're gonna pray for you. Bright light, we're gonna pray for you. We're definitely gonna pray for you. We bind the spirit of anything that's attempting to come against you, and you guys that are on this screen, pray for her. I pray that it's not just a troll that's trying to cause distraction. Sometimes that happens too, but if you're really a person, then we want to pray for you. We're going to believe God for you for deliverance from any spirit and any demonic principality to be coming against you to cause you to have heaviness, depression, anything like that. So, Shanika, are you guys in a place so I can actually bring you on and ask you a question? She says she's not a troll. Okay, good. So we're going to be praying for you. And then actually, if you, right after our broadcast, if you want to actually call us, then you can call us. And our number is 1-844-937-2653. Yeah, give it the number one more time. And then
844-937-2653. For those that are on Periscope, please put the number up so that she can call us immediately after.
And we'll pray with you. So I want to make sure that I'm always sensitive to that, because in the past we've had situations where people did that, and it was just somebody trying to trying to distract the thing. So no, we want to pray with you, and we want to definitely be there for you. So Shanika, did you answer my question? Are you guys in a place? And now she's trying to get to a place now. I'm by myself, but yes. Okay, good. Let me bring her on for just a second. I'm going to pick on her. She's a daughter of ours, and so I'm going to bring her on for just a second, ask her a couple of questions. And we'll let her go back and relax. I don't mind picking on her because I know her story, and she is a tremendous. You can eat the rest of your gumbo with the oysters in it. Y'all pray for her. Y'all pray for her gumbo. I think it's adding her. I think it's trying to add. If it does, if it doesn't, then we understand that the phone is not acting right tonight. But I love what you just said. You said, I am meant to love. Okay, is she coming? I'm trying to add you. So it says adding, Shanika. But at any rate, she said, somebody said, I am. And so, I think that was one of the things when you said that, one of the conversations we had was that there she is. Okay, where's she at? Where is the baby girl? Okay, she's coming in a few seconds. And I got to see if I can hear her. Are you there, Shannon? Okay, there she is. Oh, you're out cooking. Oh, wow.
I'm here.
She is so sweet.
Yes, I'm in the church. I just came from rehearsal, so.
Oh, wow. Okay. So tell me something. Here's a good question for you. We're gonna do pop-up questions tonight. What made you know that you that Reggie was the one. Now you guys just celebrated how many years? How many years have you been married?
We celebrated 12 years of marriage and then 13 years together.
Can she hear me?
Good go, babe.
You there,
We've
Shannon?
been married 12 years and together 13. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. For some reason, your connection is not good.
It's not.
Uh-oh.
I can hear. Can you hear what I said? We've been married 12 years,
Let's
together
try it one more
13.
time. Wow. So you guys been together 13.
We've been married
12.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Now, what made you know that no, you can't have my gumbo. What made you know that he was that when he came to you that you knew he was the one?
So when I just heard mom say that she didn't have a list, and I didn't have a list per se, but I had a prayer. And I wrote the prayer down and I asked the Lord for, these are the things that I wanted, that I felt like I wanted and needed in a spouse. And I kid you not, I prayed it. It was in October of 2000, and I did not meet Reggie until October 2005. And so when I'm going through my prayer, like, okay, he hit that, he checked that, he checked that, he checked that. But what made me, what the confirmation was that he was my husband, I met Reggie on a Sunday, and on a Tuesday, I went to Walmart, I was shopping, and the Lord said, go home and write your husband a letter. Well, I had not been with anybody, I wasn't dating anybody, courting anybody. So I went home and I said, Lord, what do I write? What do I say? And the Lord gave me a letter to write to him, whoever my husband was, and I wrote it. I put it in an envelope and I put it on my fireplace mantle. And I kid you not, that was on a Tuesday, so I met Reggie on a Sunday, and so we had started, you know, courting, whatever you want to call it, for a couple of weeks. And for a couple of weeks went by, I said, what are we doing? I need to know, just in case somebody asks me, are you single? I need to know what we're doing, so I can tell them if I'm available or not, because I don't want my time wasted. And he's like, no, you're not going anywhere. And I said, okay. And so maybe it was probably about 4 weeks after we met, we were in a restaurant. We were in Denny's in this small little town in Kansas. And he said, I have to say to you. And I said, okay. And he just poured out his heart. He said,
Wow.
what I wrote in the letter to my husband. So I
Wow.
knew then that I was supposed to the letter, and I knew that that was my husband, because nobody else could have told him what God had said to me to write. So that was the confirmation. He said everything verbatim what I wrote in the letter. So I knew then.
Wow.
And we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Wow. So I don't know if your parents said, Prophet Shanika is her and Reggie are the senior leaders of Contagious Church Charlotte. Amazing son and daughter, and just really committed, really love them. And so I asked her the question because I know this, and I know I mean even their children are just obedient. I mean they had to come to Tampa for a wedding, and normally my wife would tell you normally I don't like always watch all the children, and so I'm trying to be nice and say that the right way. My wife is a pediatric nurse, man. She loves the children, but for me, I'm like, I love the children, praise the Lord, but I just don't always, my nerves just don't always get it for the children. So, but when they bring the babies, I mean, it's like they are so obedient. They sat here for 4 hours and just was so good. You didn't hear a peep out of them. I mean, 4 hours, they were just good. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but they got to be good people because their kids are obedient. They just sit and listen, do what's right, and you don't have no issues. Matter of fact, their kids are more disciplined than this little fella right here because he's sitting here. He wants to get up here so bad, and she won't let him up. And like me, I'm the one. I just give them whatever they want. I'm like, come on up, do whatever you want to do. And he's looking at me like, can I come up? And then he'll look back at her, and he already knows she is not letting him up. So
Right.
I just give them whatever they want. So I really I really love their testimony, and that's an assignment for anybody. I think anybody looking for a relationship, that the confirmation is the things that you're asking God for. And maybe
Right.
some of you may not have written down an actual list, but she wrote down a prayer, or basically a conversation, a letter to him, and in that letter. It ended up being that the things that she wrote in her letter were the things that he said when they had the conversation.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing on our end. I wrote a letter. Yeah, she does need to do a scope on training children. Praise the Lord. But then of course she's a counselor. That's a lot of what she does. I mean, she's almost got her PhD. She's a few classes away from her PhD, and then he's ex-military. So they have a very strict, regimented, loving way to do things, and so it's tremendous. But I think they should write some stuff about relationships. But I think that's huge. And I watch the way they pray together. I watch the way they spend time together. And for me, that was a huge indicator, even as we looked at them to plant the church. I
Right.
mean, for me, that was huge. How are their children? How is their marriage? How do they
Yes.
get along? How do they communicate?
Right.
All of that stuff meant something to me. And I'm watching. I'm watching everything. I'm watching how they pray. I'm observing. I'm looking. And they really love each other. I mean, just really, really sweet. And so that's huge. So because let me tell you something. In no relationship is it ever going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
Right.
But you have to find somebody that you can be with, that even I told my wife one day, now this is gonna be, I'm being transparent. I told my wife one day, I said, uh, I said, I know that you're the one, because even when we don't always agree, I'm saying this is the PG version. Come on. Somebody said they watched y'all at the Suddenly conference, and see that's huge, you know. But I was, because people are watching, whether you want them to look or. And so I told my wife, I said, I knew you the one because, girl, even sometimes when everything is not going right, I still love you. And so that's huge. That's really huge.
Absolutely.
Well, Shanika, you passed the test, girl. I'm going to have to get you, what we going to get her? We're going to get her something. I don't know. We're going to get her some brownie with let me tell you, there was a list of questions. Let me say this, I'm going to let her go. There was a list of questions that we said you need to know the question, like, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite color? Um, okay, so let me let you go. It sounds like there is a little bit of interference, but we love you,
You.
and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, love you guys too.
I don't even know how to.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye, baby. I don't know how to. Okay. Do you want to stop my live, Shanika? Okay, here we go. Cancel. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Good. All right, I'm learning how to do this. Yep, block ministry was in full effect. So that was tremendous. When she said God told her to write a letter to him,
Yes.
and then when he talked to her, he said the very same things that she would. Start over.